Open the door! Break it. Hands! Let me see your hands! Step out here! Step out! Get on the
Hit me right in the eye, and it was terrifying.
I told her that if she said anything, then I would do something to her parents.
Take a deep breath and prepare yourself for a journey into the twisted minds of child abductors. In court, they showed no remorse for their heinous crimes, leaving us to wonder how someone could commit such unspeakable acts against the most innocent among us. Through chilling testimony and harrowing evidence, we'll uncover the shocking truth behind these atrocities and shed light on a darkness that must be brought to justice. Let's begin. Stuart Campbell. The case of Stuart Campbell is one that is both disturbing and heartbreaking. As the uncle and guardian of 15-year-old Danielle Jones, he was entrusted with her care and well-being. However, his actions were far from what one would expect from a responsible guardian or caring family member. Danielle disappeared in 2001 in East Tilbury, Essex, and despite months of searching, her body was never found. However, police discovered her DNA on a pair of blood-stained white stockings and a lip gloss, leading to a deeper investigation into her disappearance. It was soon revealed that Stuart Campbell, Danielle's uncle, was responsible for her disappearance. Shockingly, it was discovered that Campbell had prior convictions for indecent assault on teenage girls, and he had an unhealthy obsession with his niece. During the trial, the prosecutor revealed that Campbell had been sexually attracted to Danielle and had an unhealthy and disturbing obsession with her. The evidence showed that he had taken advantage of his position as her guardian to harm her in the most unspeakable ways. But this next criminal is truly disgusting.
About your relationship with Danielle. Tell me what it was about her, Stuart. Why you wanted to be with her.
No comment.
Stuart Campbell's depravity was not limited to his grooming and abduction of his own niece. The police investigation uncovered a disturbing trove of evidence on his computer, including indecent images of children and pictures of Danielle herself. Campbell was arrested on suspicion of murder and charged with both abduction and murder of Danielle. The evidence against him was overwhelming, and he was found guilty on both counts during the trial. In August of 2002, he was sentenced to life imprisonment with a minimum of 20 years. Shockingly, Campbell showed no emotion when the sentence was read. Despite the overwhelming evidence, Campbell refused to reveal the location of Danielle's body. He maintained his innocence and claimed that he had been framed for the crime. However, his defense was weakened by the strength of the evidence against him, and justice was ultimately served. The case of Stuart Campbell has had far-reaching implications, leading to important changes in the law. Claiming innocence after committing heinous crimes is an affront to justice and can lead to confusing and frustrating situations. Fortunately, the power of evidence can overcome even the most cunning of criminals. Michael Webb. Michael Webb's abduction of an 8-year-old girl is a chilling reminder of the dangers that lurk in our society. The brazen attack occurred in broad daylight as the child and her mother were walking to school in May 2019. Webb forced the child into his car and drove off, leaving the mother in a state of shock and terror. Thankfully, the abduction was captured on surveillance cameras, which helped the police in their search for the child. After an intense 8-hour search, the child was found safe in a hotel room in Fort Worth, Texas. Michael Webb was subsequently arrested and charged with kidnapping. During a 3-hour interview with the FBI, Webb admitted to the crime. The evidence presented during the trial was damning, with multiple witnesses and forensic evidence indicating that he had sexually assaulted the child while she was in captivity. In October 2019, he was found guilty on all charges. Webb's heinous crime has left a lasting impact on the victim and her family, as well as the community at large. The trauma inflicted upon the child is unimaginable, and the fact that it was committed by someone she did not know and who had no connection to her is truly terrifying.
I told her that if she said anything, then I would do something to her parents.
Michael Webb's life sentence without the possibility of parole was a fitting punishment for the heinous and despicable crime he committed. Judge Reed O'Connor, who presided over the case, made it clear that Webb's actions were beyond comprehension and that he deserved the harshest possible punishment. The sentence was met with widespread approval from the public, who recognized the severity of the crime and the need for justice to be served. The child's mother, who had been traumatized by the incident, expressed her relief that the man responsible for causing her family so much pain would spend the rest of his life behind bars. Despite his tears during interrogation, Michael Webb showed no remorse during his sentencing hearing. In fact, he did not even attend the trial in person, making a statement to the court beforehand that suggested his story was far from over. And this next person did something so shocking and disturbing, words cannot describe. Trevor Summers. Meet Trevor Summers, a Tampa, Florida native who became infamous for his heinous crimes of kidnapping, attempted murder, and rape. His target was his ex-wife, Alyssa Mathewson, whom he brutally attacked with a knife in her own home. Despite having a restraining order against him, Summers refused to back down and continued his assault on Alyssa, even kidnapping and driving her to a remote location to continue his unspeakable acts. The trial that followed was a harrowing affair, as Summers' own daughter and wife were brought in for cross-examination. Their testimonies revealed the chilling details of the abuse they had suffered at the hands of this remorseless criminal. But even with overwhelming evidence against him, Summers showed no remorse and remained defiant until the bitter end.
Looked me right in the eye, and it was terrifying.
After the lengthy trial, the jury found Summers guilty on all charges.
I did tie her up to keep her from contacting the authorities and give me enough time to get out of town.
The sentence handed down by the judge reflected the severity of the crimes committed by Tyra's abuser. The judge recognized the heinous and unforgivable nature of his actions and the devastating impact they had on Tyra's life. Summers' ex-wife addressed the court with a powerful statement.
Stating I have a lifetime protective order against him, and he's going to be right in front of me questioning me about the crimes that he committed against me.
Tyra's testimony at the hearing revealed the extent of the trauma and fear she had experienced at the hands of Summers. Her bravery in speaking out against him and seeking justice was truly commendable. The sentence handed down by the judge ensured that Summers would never be able to harm her again, providing her with some much-needed closure. Anthony Rodriguez. The case of Anthony Rodriguez has left the small town of Great Falls, Montana, reeling. Rodriguez was recently convicted of some of the most heinous crimes imaginable: forcible rape, kidnapping to commit rape, and second-degree robbery. The community was understandably relieved to know that he would be locked up for a long time. During the trial, the jury heard the harrowing details of Rodriguez's crimes. He had kidnapped the victim with the intent of committing rape, and his actions had put her in grave danger. The evidence was overwhelming, leaving the jury with no choice but to convict him. However, the legal battle was far from over. Rodriguez argued that the trial court had made errors and that his punishment was excessive. Nonetheless, the court stood firm, and the original judgment was upheld. The case highlighted the bravery of the victim, who had to relive her trauma in court. Despite the difficulties, she stood up for herself and sought justice. Her courage, along with the dedication of law enforcement and the justice system, ensured that Rodriguez was held accountable for his despicable crimes. And last but not least, we have this criminal, Jake Patterson. The case of Jake Patterson is a chilling reminder of the depravity that can exist within human beings. The heinous crime he committed against the Kloss family shocked the nation and left many questioning how such a young man could commit such atrocities. Patterson's actions were truly despicable. He broke into the Kloss's home, took the lives of both James and Denise, and kidnapped their young daughter, Jamie. What followed was a nightmare for Jamie, as she was held captive for 88 days and subjected to physical and emotional abuse at the hands of her captor. The details of Jamie's captivity that emerged during the trial were nothing short of horrific. Patterson confined her to a small space under his bed for hours, forced her to stay hidden when he had visitors, and constantly threatened her life if she tried to escape. The fact that she was able to eventually escape and get help from a neighbor is a testament to her courage and strength. During the trial, it became clear that Patterson showed no remorse for his actions. His lack of empathy for his victim and the devastating impact his crimes had on the Kloss family was truly chilling. It was clear that the public could only be safe if he was incarcerated for the rest of his life. Patterson's guilt was undeniable. He had committed 2 counts of first-degree intentional homicide and 1 count of kidnapping. During his trial, he was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole for the murders of James and Denise Kloss, and an additional 40 years for the kidnapping of Jamie Kloss. Shockingly, Patterson showed no emotion when his sentence was read. Despite pleading guilty, Patterson provided little insight into his motivations. He did reply to a journalist's letter, but his apology was inadequate, failing to provide any explanation for his heinous actions. This lack of remorse and refusal to take responsibility left many unsatisfied with his apology. Patterson's grandfather described him as a shy and introverted young man who loved computer games and struggled with social interaction. However, even his grandfather was unable to comprehend how someone with no criminal history could commit such a horrific crime. The impact of Patterson's actions on the Kloss family was devastating. Jamie will never have the opportunity to experience life with her parents, and their absence is a constant reminder of the senseless nature of Patterson's crime. Sadly, Patterson is not the only criminal who has shown a complete lack of empathy for their victims. Another kidnapper, who was also found guilty, never even attempted to apologize for their actions. Thanks for watching another episode of Binge Crime. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Watch this next.